So, Chris, I mean, let's start off with the number one question on everybody's mind. Do you think that we're headed towards a recession or just a major slowdown, or is this just near-term volatility due to tariff concerns and the administration's economic policy kind of winding its way through?
Yeah, I think markets are right to be fearful, but they should be comforted by the fact that structurally the economy is still in pretty good shape. Both consumer balance sheets and business balance sheets are still pretty solid. Credit spreads are still pretty tight. Banks continue to lend. But I think it's important to note that the differences between now and Trump's first term are pretty significant. In Trump's first term, he took over at the bottom of the business cycle. We're now at the top of the business cycle with growth close to 3% last year. So growth was set to slow anyway. Then when you come in with this policy uncertainty that we have, when you have very high tariffs threatened and then implemented and then delayed, there's a considerable amount of policy angst in the business community right now that's going to slow investment overall. So I would say that the animal spirits that people hoped for coming into the Trump administration are now being eclipsed by policy risks
Chris,
within an economy that was already slowing.
Chris, I think you may have mastered understatement, angst. It seems like it's quite a bit more than that. I want to go back to yesterday. We heard from Ed Bastian from Delta Airlines talking about a slowdown when it comes to business spending and also just general consumer spending. I know you're saying that the data points show that the economy is generally strong, but those are generally backwards looking. At what point, I want to have you kind of put your former Treasury hat on and Fed hat on. At what point do Fed officials start looking at the fact that business leaders aren't hiring the same way as they were before? They've lost some confidence in the economy, and we're getting these kind of warnings, whether it be from the CEO of Target talking about prices are going up, or the CEO of Delta Airlines, one of the most notable airlines, saying spending has significantly slowed down.
Yeah, so the soft data that you're talking about has tended to drift downward. But Powell said on Friday before the blackout period that those soft indicators have been a little bit misleading over the past couple of years. So given the amount of policy uncertainty that we have, the fact that tariffs would increase inflation, and inflation's already above target. We have a labor market that's holding in there right now, which leads me to believe that the Fed's going to be very hesitant to engage in preemptive cuts. I think they're going to have to see economic pain before they end up easing policy rates.